What up, baby?
Yeah, I was listening to our little intro there.
Yeah, get you hyped.
Yeah, man, the Sixers, like the difference now with the Sixers is like a lot of teams, you go, if this player could only develop this, or if this player could develop that. Sixers' main two stars don't have to develop anything. They're there. They just got to stay on the court and work together. That's the difference now. Philly got a real window now.
Key, you know how you always talk about snack, crackle, pop to a team? They got that. I mean, Joel Embiid, he's going to be trolling people. James Harden talking trash. I mean, it kind of epitomizes Philly to a degree, like that grit, right? It's going to be interesting to see.
Well, what did I see last night, though?
Yeah, that wasn't it. You talking about James Harden outfit, or are you talking about Boston smacking him?
I'm talking about both, the outfit and the smack. I'm like, that was a very, very interesting outfit, I must say, James.
You want to hear from James Harden?
Yeah.
It's time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Here is James Harden, the 76ers' own James Harden, on whether or not Daryl Morey played a role in his wanting to be a Sixer.
For me, I think just the relationship that I had in Houston, it was basically mutual, but everything was on me. For me, it made sense, man. It's a time where I needed to be around guys that I know that want to win and know that they are willing to do whatever it takes to win. And the structure here is unbelievable. That's the goal, man. That's the goal. Like Daryl said, the opportunity, the window is now. Joel is playing the best he's ever played. So my job is to come out there and help him and help the entire team win the championship this year and years going forward.
What does he mean when he's talking about guys who want to win?
Well, you know, that's a direct shot at Kyrie Irving. I mean, that's a direct shot about the situation with the Brooklyn Nets and all the chaos that's going around the Brooklyn Nets. You know, another piece of sound that we didn't get a chance to hear, he also talked about reaching out to Doc Rivers. And one of the things I was fascinated about he said, you know, I want to be coached. I want to be coached by a top 15 greatest coach of all time, which was another direct shot at Steve Nash. So you think about the familiarity he has with Daryl Morey, the continuity he has with the offensive schemes that Daryl Morey has put him in to be successful, the coaching aspect, and then just the commitment overall from the team. This is James Harden essentially trolling the Brooklyn Nets, telling everybody what the realness is from his perspective.
Well, from day one, he always wanted to be a Sixer. They couldn't get the deal done with Houston, and then he goes to Brooklyn. So when he walked into Brooklyn a year ago, his mind clearly was never to be there long term. I thought he was going to be there long term, but clearly that wasn't the case. And when you talking about guys that want to win, he went there with the mindset, okay, they're trading me to Brooklyn. We want to win together. I know KD. I know Kyrie a little bit. He's cool. We on this, but at the same time, now I realize he's not all in the same way I am. It's very difficult as a player to play with people that don't have the same vision as you. It's hard as hell to work with people that don't have the same vision as you, that have their own agendas. And I think that's what Harden is speaking of and speaking to. And when it was time for him to go to Philly, he didn't have a problem doing it because he feels like you said, he got a good coach. He got another top player. And those guys over there want to win. Not that KD doesn't want to win. I think he's speaking solely to the Kyrie Irving situation.
Yeah, it sounds that way. And I'm sure Kyrie, from his point of view, is thinking, I've won a championship. Have you won a championship? Like, don't talk to me about winning. On the other hand, he played with LeBron James, and James Harden's never done that. Speaking of Kyrie Irving, James Harden mentioned Kyrie's impact directly on the Nets. Listen.
Obviously, me and Kyrie are really good friends. Whatever he was going through or is still going through, that's his personal preference. But it definitely did impact the team because originally, obviously, me, Kyrie, and KD on the court, and winning covers up a lot of that stuff. But it was unfortunate that, we played 16 games out of whatever it was, and, it is what it is. But this is, here in Philly is an opportunity that I'm looking forward to.
Look, I get that James Harden was frustrated by it. And everything from expecting Kyrie to be on the court to the vaccine situation that may change, even to rumors speculating around Steve Nash not really holding Kyrie accountable in locker room sessions, but holding James Harden accountable. But it's interesting because you do get the feel also from the Brooklyn side of things. Bruce Brown came out the other day and said, hey, there's been a huge weight lifted off the locker room. A lot of players in Brooklyn felt like James Harden didn't want to be there, made comments about him potentially quitting on their team. I go back to that Sacramento game where he had 4 points. People were wondering if it was a hamstring. It looked more like a commitment thing to me. But it feels like both sides got what they wanted.
He's committed to getting traded.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's committed to himself, which in this business key, sometimes, you have in your head you want to be somewhere. I get it. Yeah. I mean, I like it, but I get it.
Yeah, he was checked out before he was checked in, clearly, day one. I mean, that was one of those situations when you look at it, Jay, you mentioned the locker room. When a guy is frustrated, and it's not personal. It's just that when you go into a work environment in a workplace and you don't want to be there, you're not going to give your all. When things aren't going well, you don't give your all. And I think it's hard for people to really understand that because they look at the economic side of things. They look at the money side of things, and they don't look at a person, how a person feels, because they can't see a person's feelings. The only thing they can see is, oh, he's an athlete, and he's supposed to be playing because they're giving him money. I remember, I don't know exactly when this was, but it had to be at the start of the season when Kyrie, a decision was made that Kyrie wouldn't be a part of the Brooklyn Nets, and not when he came back and only playing road games. But Stephen A. on not Stephen A.'s World, but on First Take, was having the conversation about how frustrating and disappointing this is going to be for both James Harden as well as Kevin Durant. Maybe more for James and less for Kevin because of the relationship, but at the same time, those two guys didn't go to Brooklyn to sit around and have to deal with something that no one really knew was coming, including Kyrie. But once everything was found out that this is the way you could actually play and help us win a championship, and he elected to do something different, and they did do it, it became a bigger issue inside that locker room. If, for whatever reason, Jay, the Brooklyn Nets don't win a championship and James Harden happens to win a championship in Philly, I feel bad for Kyrie.
Yeah.
I really would. I'm going to feel bad for him because people are going to say you're the reason why.
They won't be wrong entirely. Look, there's a difference, but I hear what you're saying, not giving your all. There's like in a bad situation, you can obey the letter of the law, but not the spirit of the thing. Like you don't have your heart in it, really. I don't think that's what happened with Harden. I think Harden, for the second time in 2 years, deliberately stopped playing without
absolutely though
absolutely
playing. Max he
just
did
stopped.
But that's because
he's,
his heart wasn't in it. When you're not in it, man, when you don't want to work and you don't want to be around people, you don't care at that point.
I'm saying I agree,
but
I'm saying something different. I agree with that sentiment. I'm saying something different. There are people in those situations. In Harden's case, I think he was doing it in a way that made it obvious to the team, look, I'm not going to play for this franchise. Send me to another franchise. That's how he got out of Houston. That's how he got out of Brooklyn.
Right? Absolutely.
See, but I just think there are different ways.